What up, my poker peeps? Welcome back to the podcast. Yeah, this is where the podcast is going to come from tonight. This is episode 9, a milestone, and some changes. Whew. It's been a crazy week. It's been busy. As you can see, I'm not at my desk. The podcast is going to come from a different location tonight. It's important for me to get the podcast out weekly. It's about accountability. It's about discipline. And I've been busy. We'll jump into the milestone in a minute, and I'll explain to why the podcast is coming from this location in just a second. Also, I just got done playing a poker session. So I'm out here in my truck. It's late at night, and I got to shoot the podcast. I ran out of time this week, so I didn't have time to go home, set everything up. We're not going to do it. We're going to do it the way that this is organic. This is about my journey. This is about my story, and there's going to be times just like in the Mad Hatter's life, like it's going to be hectic and chaotic, and that's sort of how this is, but that's okay, because that's what y'all signed up for. That's what y'all subscribed to watch, was me being real, being authentic. So one thing I do want to touch on is while I was in there at the poker session and I was playing, I had multiple people playing at the table or come by and say they enjoyed me on stream and the game I set up when everybody wore the hats and everything, and that meant the world to me. It's bigger than any win, any loss. It means a lot to me. Me setting up the poker streams in the lineups is something that I definitely take a lot of pride in, and something that I want to get better at and bring an exciting stream to people. Like I've said in the past, Jack's Best Bet and the Best Bet people have been very gracious to me, and I want them to have a great live stream. So thank you to everybody that comes by and tells me positive thoughts. It really does mean the world to me. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the milestone. There was a huge milestone that I just hit in my personal life. And this past Saturday, March 2nd, was my 5-year wedding anniversary. That's right. The Hatters have been married 5 years. And I want to be honest with y'all, the hero of that story is definitely Mrs. Hatter. Before her, the milk lasted longer than most of my relationships. So she's very supportive of me doing everything I do, my poker journey, me being the top hat wearing goofy guy that I am, and she is the hero of the story. To be honest with y'all, a lot of things that I do because I want to build her a brighter future. I want to give her everything that she's ever wanted, and poker's one way that I've been able to take her on some trips and stuff like that. So that's right. I've been married for 5 years, and I wouldn't change none of it for the world. I love Mrs. Hatter to death, and she's the best. So that was a huge milestone. And Saturday, me and her spent the day together, and I was trying to see how much I want to talk about this. Well, we went down to down around Tampa, Florida, and we went to an antique place, and we were walking around, and they had a lot of the old Disney and antiques and kind of like memorabilia from there. And while I was there, I'm always thinking about poker and how I can like do certain things. And while I was there, I picked up an idea that you will see on a future live stream, I'm sure. It'll be later at the end of this year. Hopefully me and Best Bet are still rolling tight at that point, because I have a great idea and I think it would be very entertaining. I want it when y'all tune in and you see me on live stream, it catches y'all's eyes and y'all want to watch. That's very important to me. So we spent all of Saturday together, and then Saturday evening we went over and spent some time with some good friends. And that was pretty much it for that. But as for poker and why I'm in this situation shooting the podcast here, let's get into that. So Thursday was a big day from the Best Bet locations. They did a leap year. That's right. Thursday, February 29th was leap day. So they did a leap day, leap year, whatever you want to call it. Special promotion. It was $29,000 worth of high hands up there. So I went and I played Thursday, and I put in quite a few hours. At the end of this, I'm just going to put up the big board. I'm not going to go over it. I'll just let y'all look at it. Like I said, everything's kind of hectic and everything, but that's cool though. That's sort of what this podcast is, what my journey and is all going to be about, is me just being real and authentic with y'all. So Thursday we went and played. I got in a 2-2 game and I lost 80. And then I got into 2-5, which we're going to talk a little bit about that. But in the 2-5 game, it was kind of up, down, up, down. I ended up booking a $120 win, which is big. If you've seen some of my videos, I do have a 2-5 curse I'm trying to break, and it's been rough. Here lately, I don't want to say I'm running bad, because let's be honest, on stream I've been running like God mode. So, but there've been a couple of hands where, you just get sucked out on. So anyways, I ended up playing for a little bit. Thursday, I put in some hours, and I ended up winning $40, which is peanuts, But it was good to get into the 2-5 streets and do a little bit there. Before I go into today's, because it's actually late Sunday night when I'm shooting this, so I can go ahead and get home, upload this, and kind of do a little bit of editing to it, and then make sure it's out for y'all Monday at 6 p.m. But one thing I do want to talk about is some changes that Best Bet have made that I found out today. They actually made the changes March 1st. And yeah, it was March 1st. It was Friday. So the different locations had different games. Like St. Augustine Best Bet had a 1-3 $300 buy-in. The 2-5 over there was $1,000 buy-in. The Orange Park was 2-2, and it had $200 max buy-in, then 2-5 with a $500 max buy-in. But then the Jack's Best Bet, which is over in Jacksonville, they call it Monument or Regency. Over there, they played a 2-2, but you could buy in for $300, and then the 2-5 was $200 to $1,000 buy-in. So they went ahead and pretty much got together and set the limits standard for all the rooms. So now at Orange Park, which is where I play most of my hours, they pretty like this will be for all three rooms now. The 2-2 game there is you can buy in for $300, and the 2-5 game you can buy into $1,000. So how do these changes affect me and what's going on with me in poker? Once again, I'm sorry about the shadows and everything. As y'all know, I'm shooting this like raw. But for the 2-2 game, if I was still, wanting to stay in the 2-2 streets, going up to a $300 buy-in is definitely better for me. That's 150 big blinds that you can start off with. You can play a little deeper, a little wider, and I'm trying to think how much of the strategy I want to talk about, but it definitely changes a little bit when you can buy in deeper. The deeper you can buy in, the more some things change. Stack to pot ratio changes, stack off thresholds changes. There's some theories and concepts that will change as you do that. Now, as y'all know, the stream games that I always play on are 2-2 500 deep buy-in, and I love them games, and there's reasons why I love them games. I think they fit my style, and most of the time I feel very comfortable playing in those, which is weird because that's a $500 buy-in. At 2-5, which I told you at the beginning of this podcast, that was one of the things I was trying to get to, was playing 2-5 more consistent. And over the last pretty much 3 weeks, I've really decided that that's the next step I needed to take, was to start playing more 2-5. And I'm going to be real with y'all. There's a lot of reasons that I made that decision. As y'all know, I've talked about it. It's not a short ride for me to go to the poker room. So the ability to have a bigger win rate at 2-5 is something that is needed. It's needed. Between gas money, time, all that, if I can go from, say, 15 to 25 win rate to maybe closer to 35 to 50 win rate, that's really big long term. And that's something that, like I said, is needed in many aspects. I got to make sure that, the time's worth it that I'm doing. And also there's a lot of things when you come to growing a channel, a brand, I guess, the Hatter brand, the Mad Hatter Poker brand. I put a lot of time, but also put a lot of money into it. Whether it be the hats, the shirts, and other things I do. So I'm not going to sit here. My camera was expensive. The mic that I use that you see was expensive. All these are expenditures that I've got to cover outside of my real job. And the reason I say that is my real job is that money goes to supporting me and my wife. I do not touch any of that money to do my poker stuff. My poker and what you see me do is completely it's different. My poker bankroll is away from my life bankroll, which is very important. It's a good thing to know. And then when I'm doing a lot of stuff, if I am going to upgrade stuff, it's coming out of my poker bankroll. That's how I fund what I'm doing. So if I can get to 2.5 and get a bigger win rate, it allows me to do what I want to do. It's tough because this is my passion. Playing poker is my passion, but being an influencer and meeting people and becoming a poker personality is really what I love more than anything. I love getting to the tables and talking to people and meeting people. But to grow what I want to grow, I understand it's going to take some money. I wish there was a way around it. I don't have no sponsorships. I don't have stuff like that. I wish I did. If I did, it would make things a lot easier. I'm not going to sit here and say that it won't. So, with that being said, that's pretty much why the need to go to 2.5 is happening. If I can get up to 2.5 and start winning and get the more I make, the more that I can put into this channel, because I believe that the channel is my legacy. That's right. The Mad Hatter's legacy will be on social media. It's something that you can leave behind, whether 5-10 years, whatever happens. You never know what's going to happen in life. But every video I make, every podcast I put out, it's part of my legacy. It's part of my story. And one day, hopefully, people will get to look back on this story. And hopefully I'll get to look back on it and enjoy a lot of like here I am in my truck. Who knows? Maybe 2-3 years from now, maybe I have my own studio set up. Who knows? You never know what life in the future is. I'm telling you, I say it all the time. Life and poker are so much alike. You never know what's coming, especially on the river. Oh my goodness, the river. But anyways, you know what I'm saying here. Y'all know what I'm trying to get at. So that's kind of why I've been wanting to move to 2.5. So the changes do affect me a little bit. Yeah, it's better for the times that I go and 2.5 ain't open at Orange Park, the 2-2 game would be better for me because I can buy in deeper and I can play a little bit more of a different style a little bit than just playing with 100 big blinds. I can have 150 big blinds. So that's a positive. But the 2.5 game, I'm still getting used to. I'm getting used to the monetary values. And I'm not as we talked about, I'm not a rich dude, So, yeah, I got a decent bankroll. But when I was pretty much had 25 buy-ins set aside to shoot at 2.5, now if it's 1,000, that cuts it in half. And like I said, it changes some things. I don't want to buy it. You are set behind. If I'm buying in for 500, other people are buying in for 1,000. They do have a couple things that are a little bit more advantage now. I mean, that's just part of it. Today, to be honest with you, when I went to the 2.5 and I heard about the changes, I was a little nervous about it. I bought in for 5 because that's what I was comfortable with. And to be honest with y'all, I brought 2 bullets to play 2.5 thinking it was going to be 500. And I wasn't going to just play with where one hand knocked out my whole grand. So it does make a difference. Like I said, stack to pot ratio changes. Some of your ranges are going to change the deeper you're playing. There's a lot of deeper poker things that are going to change because of that. Now, what I will say is when I bought in at 500, most everybody was bought in for a little less. A lot of people like to buy in for 300. And then there was one guy, I think, that bought in for the grand. But I'm pretty sure 500, I was the second biggest stack starting out, which that's good. I may have to pick and choose the 2.5 games that I get into now until I get a little bit more comfortable and build the bankroll some more. Long term, I think the $1,000 2.5 game will be great for me. I do better playing a little deeper stack overall, but I'm not gonna lie, that's bankroll management is a big thing. I can't afford to go bust though. So we'll continue to battle that. Like I said, it's a crossroads for me. I got to get to 2.5. I got to be able to win at 2.5, and that's what's gonna hopefully keep me afloat for a while until I can get some other things coming in, because I mean that's just part of it. I mean, I'm always going to do it, but I don't want to get stuck in the 2-2 streets forever. And I mean, like I said, I told you why it's needed. I mean, there's no other way to talk about it. It's needed for monetary and things that I want to get, and there's a lot of cool things I want to do, but I mean, it takes money. Who knows? Maybe one day I get a little sponsorship or something like that. But anyway, so there's that. So I just got done playing. As I said, I got into the 2-2 game. There was no 2-5 going when I first got to Orange Park, which I got there, I think, around 11. And then I started off hot, y'all. I didn't know about the change at the time, so I just bought in for 200. I got all the way up to 350. And then I went completely card dead for like 2 hours and bled it all the way down to around 200. And I had ace-3 of clubs, and it was a 4-way pot, and the flop come 2 of diamonds, 5 of diamonds, and 9 of clubs. So, no, yes, that's correct. So I have ace-3 of clubs, and it's 2 of diamonds, 5 of diamonds, 9 of clubs. I have backdoor clubs, and then, of course, the gutter. So the guy, he goes ahead and leads out on the flop for 15. I go ahead and call. And the turn is the 4 of clubs. Bink City, y'all. Bink City. Here we go. Been card dead. Tried to stay patient. Let's go. 4 of clubs. So now we have the wheel. He leads out for 25. Got to start charging the value here. I go up to 75. At this point, he goes ahead and calls. And the river is a diamond. It's like the 10 of, no, it ain't 10 of diamonds. It was maybe the 8 of diamonds. Anyways, it was a diamond on the river. And he goes ahead and goes all in for like 50. Of course, I mean, I hate it, but when he leads out on the flop and then he calls, I really think he has a made hand. And I was wrong. He went all in. I called. Needless to say, he had 10-3 of diamonds. Man, we had him dead to a diamond, and he committed so much, y'all. So we end up losing there. End up adding back on, and then to be honest with y'all, like, I tilted away some money. Finally, the 2-5 opened up, and we go over to the 2-5. So I end up losing 285 in the 2-2 game. Super frustrating. Should never lose 285 in there, but I mean, I got rivered. What do you expect? I mean, it happens. The other 100 I lost. Actually, it wasn't like that. The other 85 I lost was kind of my fault. Yeah, it was my fault. Anyways, so then we go over to the 2-5 game. As I said, I buy in for 500. And early on, the same guy that got me, I end up sucking out on him on the river. I say I suck out on the river. I flopped the king high flush draw. I bet. He called. The turn is a brick. I still have the king high flush draw. He checks again. I thought he didn't really have much or was real weak, so I bet 40. And he goes ahead and makes it 140. Now, be honest with you, maybe not the best call, but I was still a little steamed up from the last one, so I make the call. And the queen of diamonds hits the river, so now I have the king high flush. And he goes ahead and checks. And I go all in. He only had like 100 behind at this time, so he goes ahead and calls. I'm guessing he probably had like top 2 or a set there. I think he might, because the board was Jack 10, I believe, or Jack 9. Anyways, I think he had top 2 or possibly a set that he was trapping with. Anyways, I scoop a pot there, and I get up to 800. And then from there was a real nice hand I played with Ace Jack, where I like the way I played it. I flop top pair, and it was a 2-spade board. I didn't have no spades. I bet flop, got 2 callers, the turn come a brick, and I sized up and got both calls again. And then at that point, there was one guy that was across from the table that kept on checking. There was just something about it. I thought maybe I either knew he had a big draw or he was trying to trap me. So when it come back, when the river hit 5, so I got ace jack. The board's like ace 10, 5, 8, X. There was no real straights out there. The flush draw misses. So I go ahead and check, hoping the third guy would go ahead. I thought he might take a small bet because I felt like he really had to draw, which I was actually wrong. So it checks around, and I take it down with ace jack. The guy that I thought may have had the other draw, he actually had an ace. He had ace 6. So we scoop a nice pot there. And then we play a little bit longer, and I cash out of the 2-5 game for 900. So we win 400 there, but unfortunately we lost the 285 in the 2-2 game, so we get a $115 profit on the day. So to kind of, I don't want this to go too long, and I got to get home. And one of the things I will say that's coming up, I think that covers everything kind of poker wise. Of course, you know, two weeks from today, I go back on a live stream. I hope everybody tunes in. That's March 16th. And then, like I said, we're going to continue to try to pump the hours in. I played a little bit of online at the big board. I'll post a big board at the end. You'll see that it went up just a couple hours and a few dollars, I believe. I know I was profitable for the week. I'll probably play a little more online this week, and I don't know how much live I'll get in. Saturday, I have golf with my buddies, and there's a birthday for one of my buddies, so I doubt I'll get to play poker Saturday. And Sundays are very hard for me to go play poker because I need to do the pod. Usually Sundays is when I do the podcast, to be honest with y'all. I do the podcast Sundays at late afternoons when I can get all the stats together, and then by the time that I do the editing and get it uploaded, it's usually uploaded when I wake up Monday morning, when I wake up at 4 to go to work. And then I got to do the final touches on it if I can't do it, if it don't get all uploaded the night before, and have it ready for y'all to see at 6. So that gives y'all a little bit of like what the timeline looks from my end being the content creator. So like I said, I'll get home tonight. I'll do a little bit of editing to this. It won't be a lot, unfortunately, because I'm running out of time. I think it's pushing, man, it's dark here, so it's probably pushing 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock here. By the time I get home, it'll be 10. Do the editing, it'll probably be 11 maybe, and then I'll set it to upload, and it'll upload overnight, and then I'll wake up in the morning and get everything posted and update it, so y'all get to see this at 6 o'clock tomorrow, Monday, the 4th. Yeah, March 4th. So that's sort of how it works on my end. But like I said, we got that. Now, one thing I do want to talk about, there'll be a video coming up. As y'all know, I like to make my little, golf is something I do on the side. If you're at the poker tables with me lately, anyone that's watching that, y'all know I talk about golf a lot. And it's just something for me and my friends to do, as I've said before. We've actually, the golf course I'm going to do the charity tournament in May, the Club Pro, me and him have decided to kind of do a collaboration and make a video. And I'm going to have my scramble team that I'm putting together. It'll be myself, Digstown, Lottie Dog, who y'all saw on stream, and another friend of ours that I hope I can get on the poker stream with us in the future, named Zeus. So us four is going to take on the local Club Pro, and we're going to play 9 holes. I'm going to record all of it, and you'll be able to see shot by shot, and hopefully we don't get embarrassed. That's the goal. Now Digstown's pretty good. Zeus and Lottie Dog is real good he's pretty consistent with the driver. Zeus is pretty good with the putter. Some days I'm really good at chipping. And then when it comes to the irons and more of the longer irons and the wood, that's where Digstown comes in. So hopefully we can keep it close, and who knows, maybe we'll give him a run for his money and not get embarrassed. So that is a future video for y'all to look forward to. I believe that we're going to set that up and shoot that in 2 weeks. I believe March, somewhere between March 10th and March 15th, we're going to set that up, and we'll get to see that. I think it'll be a fun video. All 4 of us are very competitive, and of course the Club Pro is very competitive, so I think there'll be some good banter, and I'll have it set up so y'all can hear a lot of that. So that'll be a fun, comical video, I think, and kind of something different outside of y'all just seeing me play poker. So I think that'll do it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I don't know how long this is, but definitely the crossroad of jumping up to the 2-5 streets and trying to tackle that is something that you'll get to see here on the podcast. And I really hope everybody tunes in more and more. This last week, I know I didn't really get a lot of views, but I'm not going to chase views. I'm over that. Of course, like I said, you know, there's a lot of things that I want to do that I think would be really cool. Like I got a couple ideas of how I want to like do, because I always like Jamin Burton. I know I always go back to this, and I was about to wrap it up, but I like the creative side, and there's a lot of, like, when I started the podcast, I knew it was going to be a lot of just this, me talking to y'all, and then some interviews I need to get to, setting some of them up, and I think that'll help. But I want to do some more creative stuff and bring y'all some more creative ideas that I've had in my head, and make it more entertaining for y'all to watch for sure. But I hope y'all just tune in. You like my journey and getting to learn more about everything that I'm doing. So we'll go ahead and end it right here, and I will see y'all next week. I hope everybody has a blessed week, and I'll see y'all soon. Right before I go, I will say that the big board will be posted, so check it out, and I'll see y'all next week. Have a blessed one.